So, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. I'm super duper motivated for today's episode, as you can hear. And we're gonna go through some Reddit things. It's probably gonna be about the stoicism subreddit or including the stoicism subreddit. Since in the past few days and maybe even weeks, I can't even remember. I have seen so many good articles and or posts and or discussions here that it is insane, that it is kind of a must for me to go through that, because I've gained so much from it, and I often felt that the episodes per se were just really amazing in terms of the value I and or they were able to provide. Not necessarily me, but the people that are being philosophical, about things on here. So, yeah. Let's see. For all those who post about how I acted stoic today, are you aware that each time that you do that, you're really turning away from philosophy? Did you manage to get a grip of yourself and kept undisturbed? Keep it on. And did you act according to reason and for the common good? Excellent. Remember, Marcus Aurelius' meditations were found after his death. No need for a public display. Your actions and character will suffice as example for those who are around you. Well, I'm seeing two things there. The first thing is good advice. Being you just don't have to quote unquote brag about it. That you have been acting in a very stoic way and you have been just so amazing and whatever. You don't have to brag about that. On the other hand, it is just, I think, a pissed person that really dislikes that. Well, actually, this is the first one, a person that is being pissed about other people bragging. On the other hand, we're having somebody that really does give just advice, advice in terms of, maybe it's just really not stoic, and or the way we should be dealing with things, without any nuance of just being pissed about this person talking about something, if you know what I mean. Just giving advice, just trying to get people on the right track, on the right path, doing the right thing. So yeah. I just want to be present. A YouTube video. Okay. So you ought to be one of those who, in a sense, are unconscious of the good they do. From Book 5, Paragraph 6 of Meditations. We all know someone who does good unconsciously, and I know for me that they are definitely a role model. Just have to make it a habit. Hope this helps others as much as it did me. Well, yeah, definitely. Some people just genuinely good people. They just like helping other people. They just like to be nice. They just do so. They don't think about what they can gain from that. They don't think about whatever. They just have in mind that they want to help people. And these people, indeed, they are, first of all, a great inspiration. Second of all, they're just amazing. They contribute so much to society, I think, even though, I gotta be honest, I guess that I don't know anyone who does, that generally just do want to help people. But it always depends. There are some people, at least in Austria it is the case, that people are capable of doing so and they are allowed to do so. If you have the right training, the right skills, you are allowed on the weekends, for example, to be part of the ambulance and or be the ambulance quite for free. You work for free. It is just something that you do, and when you have the skills and the qualifications, you are allowed to do so if you have the possibility. Of course, you do somehow have to have contacts and you do somehow have to have that possibility to do so as well. But generally you can do so, and there's actually quite a bunch of people that do that, that for free work quite, and just literally help people. When there's something going on, these are the first people that are going to come. On one hand, you could be like, well, this is strange, because especially on the weekends when you call the ambulance and there's going to be somebody showing up that is just doing that besides working, On the other hand, it is just insane that there are actual people that want to do so. So yeah, some people just generally want to do good. Why unconsciously versus consciously? He elaborates in another verse/chapter, but essentially it means you should do good because it is your nature, not for recognition of others, personal glory/gain, or because you're required to do so for your job. Be the kind of person who just does the right thing because it is the right thing to do. Which, by the way, is something that I sought out as my goal, like always doing the right thing. And it's actually been something, more dominant in my head maybe I think a year ago or something, that I always wanted to do the right thing. At this point, it is like, and I gotta be honest here, at this point, I don't feel the urge too much to always do the right thing. It is still in my head and still creeps up and is like, well, remember that, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that doing the right thing is always going to be the right thing. Keep in mind that there is karma. Keep in mind that you should be a good person. These things, they stay in my head, but they're not as dominant as they were a while ago, which I don't know what it says about me as a person and what it says about the things that I do and just all sorts of other shit. But yeah, it is what it is, quite, I still really try to be as good of a person as I can be. And I also take quite a lot of pride in that, just always trying to be good, even when things are not that easy. But yeah, I just uninstalled Discord, most addictive thing in my life as of now. How do I stop going there again? How do I forget the people there? The thing is, I'd say it is some sort of pleasure, and I quite recently started playing video games, and I've been, putting some time in it, not like just an incredible amount or just whatnot, but some time, but I'm fine with that. I think that as long as you're feeling good about yourself and about the things that you do, and as long as you have balance, everything is fine, and this is my balance: playing video games, doing sports, doing all the other things besides working, and besides the things that I just do, it just really contributes to my balance and my well-being and me feeling good about myself and me also kind of having purpose in my life, especially then playing games that do just take time, and over a set period of time you can see progression and yada yada yada. It is interesting. I still have to find some sort of a game that I can always come back to and that I'm always gonna enjoy, as I've had it, basically back in the days quite. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get a package now quite soon. I'm just hearing some crazy cars in terms of, it really sounds like one of those package company cars, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I don't know how to deal with my emotions. I feel very intensely angry over things I know I shouldn't, things that ultimately don't matter, things that are insignificant in my life. And the fact that I get angry over these things just annoys me more. I hate it. I fucking despise it. People on this sub make it seem so easy to just not lose those things not let those things affect them. I don't know how to stop it. It's making me hate myself. Honestly, you should find a licensed psychiatrist. No one can really give you good detailed help without knowing your backstory and the context of your life. They train in how to evaluate the situation clearly and how to help you. Stoicism says that nothing can hurt us, only our reaction to external events can hurt us. So I think I'm not doing this right because I get hurt very easily. Think of it like a skill, like painting. To paint a cat or just need You just need to look at a cat and put the lines of what you see on paper. But this takes training and practice. So sure, external events aren't hurting you. You are hurting you. But I don't know how to stop hurting yourself. So by going to a psychiatrist, you can get more immediate help for you specifically on how to handle this. I would describe stoicism as a bit differently. I would say that everything in life can be put into one or two categories. Things we can control and things we can't control. And all human suffering comes from putting too much energy, time, focus, etc. into things we can't control, and not enough energy into the things we can control. But what I can control and what you can control are different. I've lived different experiences than you. A weightlifter can lift more than me because they're trained for it. Eventually, I can also get there for sure, but in this moment, they can do something that I cannot. And I have to accept that I'm not at the level and decide if I want to do action that will get me there or be content with the level I currently am at. It seems to me you're not content with where you are, but you don't have the training and practice to be where you want to be on your own right now. So you should see a psychiatrist and practice stoicism at the same time to build that training. The Daily Stoic is a great book I recommend. Each day of the year has one specific page with one specific topic. At the top is a quote from a Stoic philosopher on this concept, and the rest of the page is a few paragraphs on how to apply that idea to our modern lives. I would just read this every day, that day's page, and focus on just that one idea that day. And over time, you will have become strong enough in the Stoic sense to get where you want to be. Actually, pretty good response. I really enjoy that. Also structured pretty nicely. And there is something that I want to add, and I have, at least as far as I can remember, but I've always been quite prone to getting really angry. Maybe it is genetics, and it probably is. Maybe it is just some childhood traumas or experiences or whatever it might be. It's just in me. It's just who I am. I do get angry, and I still get angry. For example, yesterday as I was about to cook myself some dinner, and I was increasingly hungry, or getting increasingly hungry there, and I was in my, I don't know what it is called, but the room, my storage room, kind of, and I was searching for something. I was searching for cacao powder, and in the end, I have realized that we went out on it, And so I felt this aggression, I felt this anger, I felt this heat in me building up, And I've seen it, and I've heard it, and I've noticed it. And in the end, I was able to not break out. It was quite close, I'm not gonna lie, and whatnot, but I don't want to be like, okay, I'm just so fully emotionally in control. No, I still burst out, but I notice emotions coming up, and especially when it is about anger. I notice anger coming up, and it gave me the ability to, act according to this, If I notice, okay, I'm getting fucking angry now, okay, what is it due to, Yesterday I've just, clearly understood it is due to my anger. Being angry is nothing new to me, and it's probably nothing new to you as well. But sometimes it obviously is way more difficult, like why I'm angry right now, why I'm so fucking aggressive. Sometimes I do know when people ask me, and it is for a reason that I just, don't want to discuss, and this is just such a difficult topic to talk about. I mean, there are still certain things in my life that I just don't talk about, I just don't talk about these things, especially not to people that somehow are incorporated into this whole structure, And so it is, through, I think, mainly meditation, I've been able to really see emotions coming up, especially anger, and work with them way better than I've been able to do it before, I'd say. Even though I do want to point out, At this point in time, my meditation game is so off and so shit. On some days I just meditate for 5 minutes, and that's not even just to a good degree, and it's not a good quality meditation, it's just shit. It really is. And at this point in time, I really am struggling with the energy to really put energy into that, yeah. Anyway, do that. I think it really can help everybody to feel better, have more energy, be happier. Yeah, start meditating. I think it is amazing. Obviously, there's many ways in which you can meditate. But just find a way that is working for you by trying out multiple things. How to implement a more optimistic outlook on life. In one sense, it is merely about training your reason. Taking your example right now, you think, I ate my cookie, now I have no more cookies, that is bad. Yet, you think this because you have recognized that an equally valid interpretation is, I had a cookie, it's really great, I can do that. What the fuck? Not recognizing that the positive spin is no more or less rational than the negative one is essentially just an error in logic, and Stoicism is about errors in logic. Now, this is where you might diverge from Stoicism. Stoics are very much like Buddhists in that they believe stories, quote unquote, that go beyond the facts are ultimately detrimental to our well-being, even if those stories are good. We can also see why in your example, if you think I ate a cookie, it is so great, I can do this. Now the inevitable consequence is eating too many cookies, or perhaps orientating your life around cookies or mistaking cookies for happiness. You might ultimately be happier if you ate no cookies at all, but if you were busy branding cookies a good thing, you'd perhaps not see this fact. So this just, I don't know, this is just something that I could be talking about for years, like the ways in which I could see different things turning out good and bad in certain situations and whatnot. This is the problem that I'm sometimes having with life, that things are just incredibly fucking difficult in terms of there's so many ways in which things can be this and things can be that, things can change to this and things can change to that. Even if it is the same fucking context, there's just one simple, tiny little thing might change or could change, which can lead to the overall story being a completely different one. And this is insane fucking shit, and being philosophical about that and trying to talk about these things is quite difficult. Even though it is fun and even though it is cool to really go through all the possibilities that one has in each and every fucking situation, it still is wow, I'm not getting to anywhere quite, I guess. Anyway, so Stoicism may not be for you. However, one of its tools could help you anyway. The easiest way to produce change is to journal. Put simply, you write in your journal the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night, reminding yourself of the logic you have uncovered. In your case, you would write about your realization that thinking positively is just as valid as thinking negatively. You would turn the ideas over. You would write about how you plan to incorporate it into your life. Most importantly, each time you fail to incorporate it, you write about how any why you would fail and what would have been better. Over many weeks, most likely months or maybe years, emotional drives consistent with the logic you are. Well, sometimes things just don't make any sense. How then does one grieve? I honestly cannot even begin to fathom how anything I said could have prompted that question. Just a thought, a question I hope to have answered. I don't even know what fathom means. Understand. I cannot even begin to understand how anything I said could have prompted that question. Oh, I get it. I kind of see me in there. Sometimes I just really come to weird conclusions and they're just completely different things, but it is just how I work. It is just how my mind works, and I'm fine with it. And this is it. So bye-bye, I guess.